It's one of the world's hardest conditions to predict. It's extremely rare on its own, and it's still hotly debated in medical circles. I'm talking about amnesia. You've seen it play out in movies, but the real-world stories of amnesia are truly stranger than fiction. Even still, the bulk of what we know about amnesia today is because of these very same stories, or case studies. So what makes amnesia such a weird condition? To find out, let's take a look at some of the strangest amnesia stories on record and see if we can get to the bottom of this. Take, for example, a woman from the 1920s who disappeared for over a week before she was found hundreds of miles away from her abandoned vehicle. When she finally made her way home to her husband, she didn't know what had happened, who her husband was, or even her own name. She had quite literally forgotten her entire life. In more recent times, a musician contracted an ultra-rare virus that washed away nearly 5 decades of memories. But it didn't stop there, because his short-term memory only lasted a matter of seconds. Despite this, he somehow maintained his ability to create and perform music. And although he couldn't form new memories, that's not always the case with amnesia. We know this because of a football player who not only forgot his entire athletic career after hitting his head, but also the career he took up after he finished playing football. Fortunately for him, he can still form new memories. But it must be surreal watching old tapes of himself playing football with no recollection of having ever stepped onto the field. Unlike him, another man who lost most of his ability to form new memories at least maintained very sparse and specific facts from his past, whereas yet another man who was found unconscious lost his ability to speak English altogether. Even though he was a born and raised US citizen, he couldn't remember a single word. Fortunately, he was bilingual. The only other language he could speak was Swedish, and so he was relocated overseas as a tennis coach to where he thought was his home country. Pieced together, these individual stories will help us make our final determination as to why amnesia is such a weird condition, but not all amnesia is an individual struggle. That's because during a 2-year span on the East Coast 1 decade ago, over a dozen people suddenly lost their ability to form new memories in a rare form of amnesia. Here, the common trend was linked to substance use, but the exact reason why they developed amnesia was still unclear. Almost as unclear as a woman who, after back-to-back car accidents, began experiencing the same day over and over again. It was just like Groundhog Day, where her memories seemed to stop up till that very day. But perhaps one of the strangest stories of all comes from a woman who developed amnesia overnight for no clear reason at all. She not only forgot over a decade of life memories, including giving birth, but also fully believed she was still a teenager in the 90s. In reality, she was in her 30s. So after all this, what makes amnesia such a weird condition after all? Well, think of it this way. The human brain has 100 billion with a B neurons. So far as we know, it's the most complicated object in the universe. Even today, its computational power efficiency is orders of magnitude better than even the best supercomputer. And so, even though we use it every moment of our conscious and subconscious existence, it will take many more generations to fully understand it, if we ever do. So if you learned anything from this video, it's to cherish your memories, even if we don't quite know exactly how memory works. In the meantime, amnesia will remain, well, just plain weird. If you liked this story, be sure to subscribe for more.